What it is, y'all? Welcome back to another Blue Light Breakdown. This is gonna have to be a fantastic one. We got Skrillex, we got JB, the Justin Bieber, and Don Toliver, and Don't Go. I can't wait to get into it. Listen to the song, and then come back. So we're gonna break it down. You don't wanna miss it. We're just gonna get right into it. Skrillex, Justin Bieber, Don Toliver, Don't Go, you're on the hot seat. What do you got for us today? Let's figure it out.
My Mona Lisa, baby, my masterpiece, babe. When I'm in pieces, baby, you give me peace of mind. You tell me we'll be fine. You always get me right when it's dark. You're my light, baby. That's why I need you on the regular.
There's a lot happening. Let's listen to it one more time. This intro.
My Mona Lisa, baby, my masterpiece, babe. When I'm in pieces, baby, you give me peace of mind. You tell me we'll be fine. You always get me right when it's dark. You're my light, baby. That's why.
A lot going on. Number one standout is this acoustic guitar. It's very prominent.
My Mona Lisa, baby, my masterpiece, babe. When I'm in pieces, baby, you give me peace of mind. You tell.
And I hear it in both ears, slightly different. So there's several different layers of acoustic guitar happening, panned around in various parts of stereo space. But
tell me we'll be fine. You always get me right when it's dark. You're my light.
The cool thing is it's super organic sounding. You have those fret squeaks in there. You have very little processing as far as like atmospheric stuff. A lot of times acoustic guitars, right, it's kind of a bit ethereal maybe. But this is a little bit in your face, kind of holding that beat together.
Lisa, baby, my masterpiece, babe. When I'm in pieces, baby, you give me peace.
Right there, like it's kind of raspy and very natural.
You tell me we'll be fine. You always get me right when it's dark. You're my light.
There again. All right, let's keep going.
I need you on the regular. And if it wasn't, you know it would never work. Got me going on my way to show you what you're worth. Don't go. I put in the work to hear you say.
All right, interesting. 40 seconds, roughly. I'm assuming this is the chorus, which we'll get to in a second. So, introduction.
My Mona Lisa, baby, my masterpiece. Baby, that's why I need you on the regular.
Interesting structurally. Let's tap into that a little bit later. I mean, this was produced by Skrillex, right? Who is possibly one of the best producers of our generation, right? So many elements, and I think we'll get to them at some point in the video, but I don't want to talk about them all at once. Number one, I have no idea. I need to be able to listen deep into there and figure out what's going on. But again, that first standout is that electric guitar. Obviously, we got a bass, we got percussion, we have vocal elements, we have a bunch of extra sounds in there. We have a little synth line up top, but let's kind of try to get the vibe of each section in this song and talk about it in that way. How does that sound? Yeah? I don't think I'm going to be able to break it down in any meaningful way otherwise. So let's go ahead and take a look at the chorus. And then we'll go from there, huh?
I put in the work to hear you say. Misery missing your company. See, I'm pulling at you that way. Oh, if this is where you're supposed to be. I woke up in the city. I ain't seen.
Light on the drums, kind of just got a hi-hat, right? And a little snare, very light, high register.
Misery missing your company. See,
And now the standout element, we still have the acoustic guitar that's tying in these sections together, but it's those vocal elements behind the main melody saying don't go, right? That's kind of the hook of the song. Don't go.
Misery missing your company. See, I'm pulling at you that way. Or if this is where you're supposed to.
And it's almost slightly off-timed, or they don't really care about tightening it up that much, which helps the natural feel of it.
I put in the work to hear you say.
See, it almost sounds like it's a couple micro beats behind the actual beat of the song.
Misery missing your company.
And it gives it a little bit of edge, which you know, I've talked about it before, where one element of catchiness is conflict, where something doesn't sound quite right. There's a word that doesn't fit into a sentence perfectly, or there's some dissonance in the musicality of it, or there's something slightly off with the timing that doesn't sound wrong, but it's enough to give it some conflict, and that really helps with catchiness, and this definitely has it. All right, let's listen to this lead into verse 2.
Misery missing your company. See, I'm pulling at you that way. Or if this is where you're supposed to be. I woke up in the city, I ain't seen your face. Almost lost my mind, medication.
Oh man, that's dope. So we got a beat that leads us into it. Right here.
I woke up in the city, I ain't seen your face. Almost lost my mind, medication.
We have that little synth line. All right, let's talk about that now. We have this single, almost like a single oscillator, just doing a sine wave. So simple. This little whining synth sound. Everything else drops back. His voice carries us into verse 2 with this little synth line.
I woke up in the city, I ain't seen your face. Almost lost my mind, medication.
Awesome. And then this happens in so many songs, right? If you've seen any of these breakdowns, it's a super common theme where this first measure of verse 2 is very empty to let it breathe, and then we come in with everything kind of in that second measure.
Almost lost my mind, medication.
Right, and we have it with a little hey here in the back.
I ain't seen your face. Almost lost my mind, medication. 5 stars for participation. It's a COVID operation. I'll be here this way, you station. I lost my Bonnie. By that time, you already banged it.
Yeah, that synth line is super important now. And the cool thing is because, well, all right, let's look back.
You tell me we'll be fine. You always get me.
So this is verse 1, and the synth line is there.
Right when it's dark, you're my light.
I didn't really notice it before, amid everything going on. But now that we've heard it bona fide in this transition to verse 2,
I woke up in the city, I ain't seen your face.
Now it has its moment in verse 2. That's awesome. Goodness, I want to use that as a future tool to kind of highlight a certain element, because now that's all I can hear in verse 2.
Lost my mind, medication. 5 stars for participation. It's a COVID operation. I'll be here this way, you station. I lost my Bonnie. By that time, you already banged it.
That's awesome.
Something dangerous. That long hair got me tangled up. You are my Topanga, stood your ground even when they aimed at us. Even through all of that pain, none of it was in vain. And I'm proud of who you become. Hope you feel the same. Frozen, don't let me go, but let it go, please. We've been so close, don't go ghosting me. My vital OG, that's on the record. You make me better. I put in the.
All right, I have to give a shout out to Justin Bieber here. Okay, I guarantee you, there's still so many people that cringe, that really don't like him really. You gotta admit, this guy can write music, and it's been interesting seeing him transition to a lot more R&B kind of styles recently, because this is fantastic. The different melodies in this song are already, I mean, we're a minute and a half in. I feel like we've gone through 4 different kinds of verses and a couple different kinds of choruses, because he's mixing up the melody, his cadence of words, and his style, still within kind of the genre or the element that they're in for this song. And I don't think that should be taken for granted. The writing, which I want to spend more time listening to the song because it seems very interesting. But there's a lot of talent here. There's a lot of artistry, which I don't want to pass you by. And I mean, I know he does a ton of his own writing, obviously with a lot of other people. But this second verse, second pre-chorus, let's just take a listen. As we're going to start talking about more elements, try to listen to the structure that he's doing with the melodies and with his vocals. Because I had to listen, for a few seconds longer just because I was kind of mesmerized by it.
I'll be here this way.
I will start it right from verse 2.
Participation.
Sorry.
I woke up in the city, I ain't seen your face. Almost lost my mind, medication. 5 stars for participation. It's a COVID operation. I'll be here this way, you station. I lost my body.
Lots of vocal elements, haze and woos back there.
Stars for participation.
Kind of whenever he's dropping his vocals out.
I ain't seen your face. Almost lost my mind, medication. 5 stars for participation. It's a COVID operation. I'll be here this way, you station. I lost my body. By that time you already banged it. She it.
Repeat of banged it there.
Already banged it. She and dangerous. That long hair got me tangled up. You on my Topanga, stood your ground even when they aimed at us. Even through all of that pain, none of it was in vain. And I'm proud of who you become. Hope you feel the same.
All right, there's almost some African sort of style percussion going on here. I've noticing, especially in the transitions.
And I'm proud of who you become. Hope you feel the same.
Yeah, listen to that right there.
I'm proud of who you become. Hope you feel the same.
That's cool.
Don't let me go, but let it go, please. We've been so close, don't go ghosting me.
Interesting. This is a pre-chorus, I'm pretty sure. Second pre-chorus going towards chorus 2. But we have that don't go kind of hook in the back here.
Let it go, please. We've been so close, don't go.
Was that in the first one?
Got me going out my way to show you what you're worth.
It wasn't. It wasn't. So this is a cool progression, introducing that hook way back in the mix.
Frozen. Don't let me go, but let it go.
Right there.
Please. We've been so close.
A lot of the other elements sound similar to the first pre-chorus. We have that acoustic guitar holding back on the percussion besides the hat and the light snare.
My vital OG. That's on the record. You make me better.
Damn, those vocals are awesome.
We've been so close, don't go ghosting me. My vital OG, that's on the record. You make me better. I put in the work to hear you say.
And that allows for a cool transition into the next chorus. All right, let's listen.
Misery missing your company. See, I'm pulling at you that way. Well, if this is where it's supposed to be. Easy love.
Sounds pretty similar to the first chorus.
Misery missing your company. See, I'm pulling at you that way. Well, if this is where it's supposed to be.
That kind of bongo element right there, leading us into probably verse 3 rather than a bridge. It looks like we got Don Toliver coming up here.
Well, if this is where it's supposed to be.
All right, so let's talk about this. I am noticing the standout elements for me are that acoustic guitar, that synth line, his vocals changing structure, changing the melody a lot, and I almost want to bundle in the rest. We have that, right, that little African beat bongo. We have those vocal elements just juxtaposed to his melody and his vocal lines. There's some haze and some ooze in there. We got a lot of extra stuff, tons of extra elements, and it almost meshes into one for me. Like that extra stuff is one element of the song. Let's see if we can pick apart a few more of those elements. But I think the cool thing is that they're there and you can notice them as a whole, but none of them are individually distracting enough where like your ear goes there and you're like, oh, like that's a new element. They're so well put together and so artistically handled. It's giving the vibe that they want without being evident. Does that make sense? That makes sense to me. Hopefully it makes sense to you.
You talk about him like he's decent enough. I see you moving it.
Ooh, real cool vocals, vocal effects there.
Keeping up. Don't know what you're doing, but you need it, love. Need it, love.
Oh man, they're not gonna repeat it?
And is he keeping up?
Where is it?
I see
Yeah, right there.
him like he's decent enough. I see you moving
Oh, that's
is he
so cool.
keeping up? Don't know what you're
A lot of delay, a lot of doubled, repeated vocals.
doing, but you need it, love.
We got that "Don't Go" still there in the back.
Need it, love. How far can you get, girl? You know I've been in love with you since the beginning, girl. Talking out of tone to me, gotta be kidding, girl. Need you all alone with me, gotta be committed, yeah. Girl, I need to see your face. Hit the
Structure, crazy. I don't really know what's happening here structurally, because it seemed like this would be, a verse 3 with a different vocalist. Then we go into a third chorus. It didn't really happen. It was like we went verse 3, bridge, verse 4.
gas to win the race. 30 pounds of loaded bass. Moving, babe.
And that's fine. It helps that we have two vocalists here, and I think the varying melody is allowing this to not feel repetitive or stagnant. We're progressing, we're moving places constantly, and that's fine.
How far can you get, girl? You know I've been in love with you since the
Right, and here we have like an intro to a new section where everything drops out besides the guitar now. We did that once before where everything drops out and we have the synth line. Now it's just a guitar that's holding it in.
How far can you get, girl? You know I've been in love with you since the beginning, girl. Talking out of tone to me, gotta be kidding, girl. Need you all alone with me, gotta be committed, yeah. Girl, I need to see your face. Hit the gas to win the race. 30 pounds of loaded bass. Moving, babe, I love the chase. Do your dirt, I keep the taste. Pop that shit and make me wait. Shot it like the call me up, but I might be late.
Crazy vocal elements there in the back. Take a listen pretty deep back there and see how many you can pick out and really try to sense that vibe.
30 pounds of loaded your face. Hit the gas, be committed, yeah. Girl, I need to see your face. Hit the gas to win the race. 30 pounds of loaded bass. Moving, babe, I love the chase. Do your dirt, I keep the taste. Pop that shit and make me wait. Shot it like the call me up,
Octave down on that one.
but I might be late. I put in the work to hear this.
Fantastic. So we have sort of a verse 3, sort of a bridge, verse 4. I don't know what to call it, but it's all leading us back to probably this last chorus, right? Time-wise, that checks out. Tons of movement still in that melody, really juxtapositioning it with those vocal elements thrown in here and there. And man, I'm almost at a loss for words because there's so much happening. Well, let's touch on a couple things. The bass, I think, has been doing the same pattern almost the entire way through. It's that kind of synth, very basic synth bass, kind of doing the same pattern all the way through. Same with the drums, kind of light on the drums. Simple snare, simple kick. Got several different hi-hat patterns in different sections of the song. But those are really kind of the only things that are kind of normal. And everything else is helping to not make it feel monotonous because those elements are pretty much the same, right? There's so much else going on to help that along into a progressing song, mostly done by the vocals, I believe. Multiple vocalists really just having a good time with the melody and the cadences, and it sounds awesome.
Misery missing your company. See, I'm pulling at you that way. Or if this is where you're supposed to be.
So I noticed there's no synth line in this last chorus.
To hear you say, misery
Not there.
missing your company. See, I'm
Probably because they reserved it for the outro, so that it doesn't feel monotonous, right? All the way through as we're finishing up.
pulling at you that way. Or if this is where you're supposed to be.
And it's back. Shout out to the intro with those those elements. Ooh, in the intro, there's sort of this pad organ, like a high kind of organ sound. Yeah, and it's there. Don't hear it there.
How far can you get, girl? You know I've been in love with you since the beginning. Be late.
It's not. It's a couple sections of the song apparently, but not here on the outro. Oh man. Kind of that bongo sound to lead us out. Man. What do the kids say? It's fire? I'd say so.